Hello, and welcome back to my channel where I am reading 2 chapters a day of The Wheel of Time until I finish The Wheel of Time, starting with book 1. This is my first read through, and I'm excited about it. So today I read chapters 31 and 32, and it was nice because these 2 chapters followed the same 2 characters for both chapters, which has previously to this point not really been the case. Um, that's just kind of how the chapters have been broken up. There have been 2 chapters in a row of the same characters beforehand. I just those have not always aligned with the chapters I'm reading. So I enjoyed that these two and the previous two have both been about the same characters. It's been some nice continuity. So in these 2 chapters, we follow Rand and Matt, and in chapter 31, we start with them playing for their supper. So that's what the chapter is called. You'll remember I said that I was going to start paying more attention to what chapters are called and titled. So for this chapter, they literally are playing for their supper. And basically, we just catch up with Rand and Matt in the days that they have left Whitebridge. And it's been a rough few days. They are basically kind of going from farmstead to farmstead, doing chores and sleeping in barns and trying to make their way closer and closer to Camelin. And they're, like I said, trading chores for beds and meals. And finally, one night, they end up playing and entertaining this farmer for their room and board rather than like doing chores around the farm. And so Rand plays the flute and Matt juggles, and kind of they use these skills that Tom Marilyn, RIP, potentially, taught them. So that really is chapter 31 in a nutshell. Chapter 32 picks up with them on their way still to Camelin, and they come upon this little village called Four Kings, which I think is an interesting name. In this little village, there are 4 inns, and none of the inns need, well, none of the first 3 inns need traveling performers to entertain their patrons. So they find this fourth inn, which is derelict, and it's called the Dancing Cartman. And so they talk to the innkeeper. The innkeeper begrudgingly is like, yeah, I'll give you room and board. You can sleep in the back storeroom for you entertaining the guests tonight. And they do that. So then while they're playing, this man comes in and he's acting really suspicious. He sits down and they hear people talking, and apparently he's been going from inn to inn. And finally, when he gets to the dancing cartman, he stops and he like makes eye contact with Rand. And, anyways, acting very suspicious. So, when the night is over and ends, Rand and Matt are led back to the back storeroom, and Rand and Matt know that they're about to be robbed because, we have like a nice fiddle, and Rand has his heron sword, and Matt has this ruby dagger still. So, like, 3 really valuable items. And so, while they're in the storeroom trying to figure out how to not be robbed and like escape from the innkeeper and his cronies, the suspicious man, comes and like knocks at their door and is like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm your friend. I can get you out of here. Just come with me." And obviously they don't. It's revealed that he's a dark friend, and I think this might be the first dark friend that we've met. Um, and he tells Rand and Matt that his master sent him, and he is here to prepare them to become dreadlords for when the Dark One returns. So whoa, like, what? This is the first that we've heard of this, really. Matt and Rand are trapped in this room, and they've got Howl Goad on one side, the dark friend, and then they've got like iron bars on the other, and they don't really know what to do. And so, right at the end of the chapter, Rand is thinking, like, there's no way out, there's no way out. And then, boom, there's a lightning because it's raining outside. And this huge flash of lightning comes, kills a lot of Goadsmen, creates like an opening in the wall for Rand and Matt to escape, and they escape and they're gone. So there concludes chapter 32. I will say that I really liked these two chapters. For the first time, I feel like something is finally happening. I'm like 450 pages in. um, but yeah, things are feeling like they're starting to pick up. And this chapter just seems really important. It's like I feel like some nuggets have been held out in front of me, and I just want to keep reading and find out like more of what's going on. I think that we're led to believe that this is like lightning that strikes, but I'm not so sure that it's lightning. I feel like maybe it's something that Rand did and just doesn't know yet. So that's a prediction. Also in chapter 32, no, in chapter 31, Play for Your Supper, there's like this kind of sweet moment where, you know, the boys are kind of being like little mini gleemen. Obviously, they're not nearly as good as a real gleeman, but they're traveling and playing music and entertaining and juggling, and they're doing what Tom Maryland wanted them to do and suggested that they go off and do when they arrived in Whitebridge instead of continuing on to Tar Valon. And so it was kind of like this bittersweet, ironic moment. And then we're reminded again that Rand has this heron sword that's really important to him. And that reminded me that we don't really know what's going on with this sword. So waiting for that to be explained. And then the only other thought I had about this chapter was kind of something that made me laugh. In the last two chapters, 29 and 30, I didn't mention this, but there was just like a throwaway line where Perrin was like, "Ah, I wish Rand was here. He knows how to talk to girls." And then in chapter 31, Rand was like, "Ah, I wish Perrin was here. He knows how to talk to girls." And it just made me laugh because that's so like typical teenager, I feel like, to feel like everybody else gets it except you, when in reality, like neither of them know how to talk to girls, I feel like. So anyways, that just was a little thing that I found funny. So yeah, that was chapters 31 and 32. Um, I really liked it. I'm excited to start reading more and learn like more about Matt and Rand's destiny as Dark Dreadlords, which I don't think will come to fruition. Maybe I'm misunderstanding completely. Um, I want to know more about the Stark friend. I want to know more about this lightning that I think Rand caused. And I'm hoping that we get to Camelin soon and the whole band reunites. We'll see. Anyways, I will be back tomorrow with chapters 33 and 34. And thanks for watching and following along.